Hello everyone and welcome to the Atelier Nekozuki podcast. My name is Katie. Today is Friday, July 26, 2019, and this is episode 82. Thanks so much for joining me, whether you are new or returning. I hope that you enjoy. Summer has finally arrived in Cochrane. Last week we ended up with some really chilly weather on like Friday, and then it just went from like 15 degrees to 32 like 2 days later, so it's been really nice. Finally nice enough to actually get outside and do some running, which is fantastic. I absolutely love it. Went for a run this morning now that my ankle isn't injured from twisting it anymore, and so that felt really good. But the flip side of that is we definitely have to be out early, and I am not a morning person in the least. Poor Dallas knows this extremely well, but I'm very grumpy, especially before I get my coffee or anything like that. But you're not here because I am a runner. You are here because I'm a knitter, and this week you are here for the yarn, at least, because I have not, well, okay, that's a lie. I worked on socks a little bit, like 3 rows, but what I've been doing instead is all the dots, crochet dots. There are 42 dots here. There's too many dots. But I'm done the purple coloration. Obviously I haven't like woven in ends or anything like that. We are not going to discuss how many ends there are on this blanket because I have to get through the dots first. But I've got the blue now finished, and I've got the purple now finished. I literally finished the gray edging on the last, like I had a dot, 1.5 to go for the gray like edgings. So I finished the edging this morning on the purple, and then that means that I only have the green left. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and with some of these purple ones, what I've been doing is I've done the purple and the gray at the same time, because that's technically what you're supposed to do. But I found that what ended up happening is I was counting constantly, and then screwing up how many I actually needed, because I've already got a few in the blanket. Like I have 7 of each color in the blanket already, and it was a disaster. So I know with the green dots I need to crochet 42, and granted I will continue counting them, but I'll crochet 42 colored dots first, and then I'll add the gray to them, because I think that will keep me more on track. I'll try. Anyway, so there are far too many dots. They're all on my kitchen table right now, because that's really the only place to store them, unfortunately. And then I will do the layout next week, hopefully. It is just under 2 weeks to the wedding, which this is due for, which means that I still have an extremely slim chance of actually finishing it. I looked at Dallas last night. I'm like, why am I doing this again? And he agreed with me that there will be no more that I have to do blankets for. We will just buy gifts from now on. But anyway, so this is being crocheted out of a Stull worsted, which is a merino acrylic nylon blend. I want something that was washable and at a good price point. It was at the perfect price point for a blanket amount. Quite happy with that. I'm going to actually have quite a bit spare, so I'm going to have to figure out if I can like return it or exchange it or something like that, because I'm going to have at least 3 skeins left over, probably closer to 4, and I don't really want this in the stash. Like, it has its uses, but having 4 random colors of this, like, this is not something that I would normally put together except in this blanket, because these are like the bride and groom's favorite colors, and their wedding colors and everything like that. So that's the only reason. I am also working on another one right now. I'm on the 2nd round of it, and these are being done on a 5.0 millimeter hook. I don't know what that is in, like, what letter sizing that is, but it's an Addy. I find that these fit my hand the best, and I haven't had a lot of, or any real hand fatigue, just mostly mental fatigue, because again, it's a lot of dots. And I'm so over the project that it's being really hard keeping myself entertained through it, because all I want to be doing is either knitting or playing Kingdom Hearts or out in the nice weather, which actually it is kind of nice. I can take it outside and work on it out on the deck and stuff like that. And being that it's so modular, like these are all separate right now, they're not staying on my lap, which is really nice. That was one of the detrimental things to a lot of like the log cabin blankets and such, is that they just keep growing, of course, and then you end up with like this massive mass on your lap, especially in the summertime when it does hit 30 degrees. I'm just like, no. So the modular construction that way is really nice, but there's so many dots, because I think I worked it out. There's 49 of the purple and the green dots total, so there's 98 there, and then there's 42 of the blue dots, which means that there's 140 dots, so plus the gray, and then I have to connect all of them. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's feeling never ending. And of course I'm under deadline. Now if I'd been smart, I would have been working on this since January when I picked up the yarn, but I had other things I wanted to work on. Still have other things I want to be working on, but I will get this finished. But again, we will not discuss the ends until it's finished. If I'm lucky. What is today? So it's Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I might end up having at least most of the dots, like the colored bits, finished by Wednesday, and then just have to do the gray for that week. So I'm hoping to have it finished by like the Sunday or Monday before we head up, which would be like the 4th or something like that, I think. 4th or 5th, that sounds right. I'm hoping, fingers crossed for me, because then I can actually like take my regular knitting with me, so that when Dallas is driving I can actually knit. That would be the best thing. But yeah, so I don't actually know how many of the purple ones I finished this week. Again, there are too many, so we're just gonna go with too many. The green one, I have finished 1 and a bit. We're gonna count this as half. Actually, I count them as half when they're here. So that's half a dot basically, because the gray takes about the same amount of time as the green, or as the colored bit. I have definitely gotten faster, which is really nice, and I have been able to kind of crochet them while we've been watching anime. Not always successfully, simply because I am not as proficient of a crocheter as I am a knitter. So it's a little bit hit or miss, but I think they're close enough that you're not going to be able to tell unless you like know something's wrong. I hope I don't block this thing and then realize that I needed to redo those dots. Oh well, I guess I could do them at that point, because it would be a very small percent of what I've actually got finished, or what I finished. But yeah, hopefully I will be able to tell you next week that all the colors are done, and then it'll be done by the time we head up for the wedding. And then what else did we do this week? Honestly, that's most of it. This week I was really unmotivated to do anything, and it was mostly because this blanket's kind of taking up a lot of mental room in my head, and so it's like bleeding into everything else. I actually did end up watching a couple Disney movies with my mother-in-law and niece the other day. In preparation, we're going down to Disney World with everyone, or most of my brothers and sister-in-laws, and my niece, and like that side of the family in October. And so we're watching the movies, because I find that you do get a lot more out of the parks after you've seen the movies recently. Like, just, I don't know, hints of like the music and like signage and decorations and stuff like that. It adds another layer, which is really cool to me. So we're going through and watching especially the classics. So we ended up watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and then Pinocchio, and this week we're gonna watch Dumbo and Bambi. Yes, so both of those, because I don't think my niece has seen a lot of them, or if she has, it's been like years since she's seen them, so that'll be good. Yeah, and not much else. I'm trying to keep myself distracted with audiobooks. I did finish actually reading one book. I finished reading The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. She wrote the glamorous series as well, which is like Shadows of Milk and Honey. The Calculating Stars is like an alternate universe space race, so that was really good. And there's a second book which I haven't read yet, but it's on the list to start and hopefully finish soon. They're really quick reads, about 6 hours for me at least. So that was really nice. I enjoyed that one. And then I did listen to Caravel by Stephanie Garber. Not what I was expecting. I've seen the name float around in the young adult book world recently, and but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And then the other one was actually one that I've had on my list for a really long time, and then it turned out to be super blah and totally not what I wanted at that point. Like, yeah. Character deaths that ended up meaning absolutely nothing to me. So I'm like, well, this just isn't up my alleyway right now. That was The Mortal Engines by Philip Reeve. Really cool concept. I think that it has a lot of potential. I think for some readers it would be really good. For me, it's just not what I need right now. And I'm just kind of disappointed because I had it on my like to be read list for probably 5 years, and yeah, it just wasn't what I was looking for, I think. And so it was actually a really massive slog to get through, especially with the crochet as well. So like I couldn't distract myself with the book. What else? Those are the only ones right now. And then I started listening to Where the Crawdads Sing by, I think it's Delia Owens, which I'm enjoying so far. I'm not really far in. It's a long movie. It's a long audiobook, but it's good. Oh, the big thing is with the shop, actually. Sorry, I should have written notes down because apparently I'm super scatterbrained today, but the shop has been updated with all of the new knot bags and the new products, which are shawl pins and Haya Darnet needles, which I totally forgot to bring to show you, but I will do that next week. With the knot bags, I'm going to start transitioning over to a listing system of all of the bags in one place under one listing as variants for print, because that will be a lot less daunting for me to actually go through and add product as I take photographs, because as you build listings, you have to make sure that the SEO, which is search engine optimization, is set for each bag, that like the web address isn't too long, that there's a whole bunch of factors that having to go through and edit each one individually on for a listing was becoming a lot of work. And so I'm going to start switching over to this variant option, because what'll end up happening then is that it won't be as daunting and like overwhelming of a task when I do go through to update the shop for everyone. So I'm hoping in future this means that when I actually finish stock, I won't do massive updates. I want to do a trickled update of just like new things coming in consistently. But it will mean that like post Knit City updates or pre Knit City updates, I can take photos and then put them up on the site and just put them under one listing, so that you can find them all in one place. For as a shopper, I hope that makes it easier actually, and B, for me, it definitely cuts down on the amount of time I have to put in to get the product to you as well. So we're at least trialing this. If it doesn't work, I still have the photos, so we can go through and I can do a whole bunch of individual listings. Some of the new bags are individually listed. Most of what I posted, everything that I posted this time was actually knot bags. I have to double check a few of the stock things from some of the older stock I chatted about, just to make sure I'm not listing it when it's been sold. So a stock taking will be, or like double checking will be taking place here soon, and then I'll make sure that those get posted as well. But shawl pins are up, Haya darning needles are up, and knot bags as well. So I think that's everything for this week. I've got to get back to my dots. We've actually, we're actually heading out for a nice dinner tonight, and a pottery class. I'm super excited. It's a big surprise for Dallas actually. So he doesn't know what we're doing tonight, but it's a date night pottery class, and so will let you know how that goes next week. I'm super excited for it though. So fingers crossed it goes well for me, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. Happy crafting, and I will chat with you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.